Hi everyone, Mark Surgeon here again, and today we will talk about how to create accessories, for example, mustache or hair or eyebrows or something similar. Uh, this is one important question, and the other is how to deal with UVs and how to deal with changes once you have a model that is rigged and skinned. Now, start with the easiest part. We will create a double of this model, and I just want to show you how to tie that doubled one, and then you can convert it. So imagine if you have a model that you have no UV coordinates. So in this case, um, we will make a copy and replace the existing and already skinned model with a new one that has the UVs. Okay, so you have the benefit to do this afterwards if you have no time to make the UVs or some kind of imperfection happen. Now to deal with that, I will have to make a copy of this original head because I have no multiple heads now. I just will make a copy. That's Control V is to make a copy. It is a copy, and that will be Century Head UVW, and I will isolate it. Now it is important because uh, I had a double head, and the double head is actually sharing place, so the place is common. And to make sure that I have the newly created head is selected only, I'm using isolation instantly, just right after making a copy. Okay, now because this is a copy, it also has the skin. So if I want to move it away, I won't be able to really move it away because the bones will stick to this head. Okay, so I will just Ctrl Z undo that and remove the skin modifier first. Now that one is removed. So let me add a UVW coordinate. Unwrap, let me check it. Yes, it's nice. If I want to make changes. This one is already done here, but if it's not done, the process is absolutely the same. Just you have to include the UV fixation. So what I do need, I have to convert it back to an editable poly. So I'll collapse all, hold yes. Now this is just let me change the wire color, and here we go. So I can leave now. Now what is happening here? As you see, I have an overlap model because there is the original head, and just let me select the head, original head. Where's head? UV, this is head, and it has a skin. So when I start to move these controllers, just let me quickly create time frame. So this is one is actually skinned and moving. The other one is staying in place. Now what we have to do is we have to tie this newly created head to the skinned mesh. Now to do that, we have a special modifier that's called skin wrap. Now skin wrap is actually designed to work on a high resolution object that is tied to a low resolution proxy model to follow the deformations. But it is a great thing if you want to replace an existing model. Now what we have to do is to add on the original head, and that will be the Century head. Now it's an underlying head, it was easy to select, and just let me test it. Let me see how it works. Now it works just like it has to work. So the other thing, this is not a skin modifier, not yet. So when you're satisfied and you want to get rid of the original head because you cannot use it, you need the UV coordinates, for example, to use it further, then you have to make sure that everything is matching perfectly. Now to do that, you can add and convert this guy into a skin and remove the skin wrap. The relation is there. Okay, so the relation is still there, everything is the same, but now you have two heads, and if you are done, you can actually delete the original one, and here is the newly created Centuria head UVW, and it shares the properties, so you don't really have to deal with deal with the skinning again. Okay, just quickly let me check how it opens. Okay, it opens fine. So technically this is it, how you can remodel, reuse your existing skinning if you want to save some time, and for example someone other is working on your UVs, this might help a lot. Okay, to the next question. Now if you want to create a hair, you can also use this skin wrap modifier, but let us first create the hair model as it is. Now this guy is an editable poly, but because it has a skin modifier, the ribbon is empty. So when you want to start the retopologizing process, you have to start from an editable poly, but you don't want to go under it. You can do something else. You can go up here and create a plane, turn on auto grid, and directly just lay down a plane on the head, and this is length segments are 1, and I can convert it into an editable poly, and voila, here we go, we have everything aligned. So draw on surface, and Centurio head UV, that will be the model, and offset is 0.1 in centimeters, and just let me use a conform brush here and go into the extends and just quickly lay out a rough hair. Okay, so this is nothing special, this is quite, I don't need any this one, so this is quite rough solution. Okay, just quickly, you don't have to keep it too much in details, so lower details fair enough. You can always add on more and more details, but imagine this is just a rough base. Okay, so it's not our final hair model because we have to work on the thickness and work on other parts. So this guy is partially bald, so I will just use it. Shift S to hide away the controllers. Now we are closing to the symmetry. Okay, and here we go. Probably some extension here adds to the volume of the hair at the bottom part. Okay, accidental move. That's right. Okay, so it's not absolutely not perfect, but this is the quick base to deal with. Now once it is done, next thing is to add some thickness. So what to do and how to do it. So I'm going in the shell modifier, and shell modifier is a great thing to add some volume, but not just in this direction, of course, because there is an overlap and this is a hair, in a solid hair in this case. I will add some inner amounts, so I just want to make sure that it is sticking into the head, so we have a good overlap. Now the big benefit of using the shell modifier is actually it generates material IDs. So when you have material IDs, deleting the faces inside will be easier. So please keep in mind we are using the shell for this purpose, not only for this, but this is one of the many. So okay, that's nice. What does that mean? If I'm isolating here, have an outer layout of polygons and an inside. So now I can convert it into an editable poly, and because I've adjusted the values, so everything is, the outside is 1, this is 2, this is 3, I can go in, check in the inside polygon, select it, and let me see, yes, it was ID 1. Now hit on select ID, it automatically selects the polygons with the ID 1, and I can delete them. And also there's no need here on this cross-section polygons because this guy will be receive a symmetry. But if you want to make it absolutely perfect, you can go with another line. Okay, not this one. Align to y-axis. Oh no, it was good, but oh, a little bit strange. Anyway, so I'm flattening it down by using the scale and delete it now. Okay, the purpose was I wanted to create a straight edge. Yeah, this is what happened. Okay, just let me fix it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Now, the next move is to add symmetry, but because the original plane was created on the side of the head, the pivot point of the hair is actually tending to be on the right side. So what I have to do, I have to bring it back to the center and go in a hierarchy panel and affect pivot only, and actually dialing it back to the center. So aligning it towards, and go back 0 0 here, and okay, I'm okay with the Z height, so this one is okay, and turning it off. And just let me quickly add a symmetry modifier on top of it. And alright, it's still not working. Axis, okay, it's not really dealing with the proper. Alright, so in this case, if it's not perfect, even if the pivot point was aligned, then you can do a reset. So utilities, reset X form. A reset is a good thing anyway. So if you're doing an animation and you want to use skin and scale and everything to animate your object, it's a good practice if you reset them. Now, reset X forms turn on, hit reset selected. This will add a special type of modifier, and now I can go right click, convert it back to editable poly. Okay, and now the process is the same, so symmetry is added, but as you see right now, the symmetry mirror subobject is aligned perfectly to the world. The only thing I have to deal with is the flipping. So now it's flipped, everything is nice and done. And of course, you can go in here in the editable poly mode and start working on your model. So to add fine details, and you can send it to Modbox or ZBrush or whatever, you can adjust it, but it's a great base mesh. Sometimes it is a good idea to add a turbo smooth at the first. So if you have a good layer of polygons, and then it's easier to add more details, especially if you want to paint those details by sculpting. Okay, so that's it. Now, what to do if you want to stick the hair to the guy, and how to solve this issue. Now we will use the same skin wrap as we did previously, but of course turbo smooth, we're not interested in turbo smooth yet, so we need a low resolution mesh. It's much better and easier to handle. So in this case, skin wrap, and add the head, and here we go. So that works like a charm. Now the only problem is if you want to add a turbo smooth modifier on the head, because you want to add more details on the head, it usually creates, not usually, it creates a problem. Just let me demonstrate this. So I have the head here, skin modifier, and I want to add some smoothing on the rendering. And it looks nice, but what happens when I start to move these things around? The problem is the hair has a problem with the turbo smooth, because at the moment when you add a turbo smooth as a modifier on top of the skin, it will alter the properties of the mesh, and the hair cannot really handle that anymore. Okay, so this is what happens. So if you are using skin wrap, the best idea, if you make no changes on the original model that you are sticking to, So in this case, it's not a good idea to add a turbo smooth. What to do if you want to add a higher resolution model, smoother resolution model to your rendering, but you want to work with these low resolution guys in the scene. Now here comes the trick. You can create both of these, a new model. Just let me quickly create this one. So I'm Ctrl V and remove skin wrap, convert it into editable poly. Now I have another hair. Okay, so don't forget, I used Ctrl V to duplicate the hair model, Ctrl Z to fold back in place, and now I will add a turbo smooth, and this will be my render mesh. Okay, so I will add a skin wrap under the turbo smooth, and the skin wrap in this case will stick to my hair. Okay, so it will stick to the hair that was plane 001, and I'm adding a turbo smooth on top of it. And just let me create a quick render. Yeah, so everything is visible. Now I will just turn it off and select this model, right click object properties. I will turn off visibility or renderable, and select this guy, and this guy will be rendered. So if I hit F Shift Q again, now the original mesh is there, but it's not renderable anymore. So what you see in the final render is the high resolution model, and this way, if you move it away, the original model makes the job, and the high resolution is just for the rendering purposes, and I can use a turbo smooth on top of it without any problem, because it's sticking to the hair. Now same thing with the head model. I can make same process as we did earlier. So set head render. Okay, and that will be not a skin, that will be a skin wrap modifier. Here we go. Where is it? Skin wrap, add, and we are adding the original guy. That was essentially you had UVW, and on top of it I will add a turbo smooth. And now the original head is object properties is not renderable anymore. So what I do have, if I'm pressing Shift Q again, there will be a smooth mesh with a smooth hair. Everything is sticking to the original proxy model, the original low resolution. The head sticks to the low resolution head, the hair sticks to the low resolution hair model, and everything is working in animation as well. Now the only thing that you have to do is to create a new layer. So the head render and the hair render models might require a new layer. So create a new layer, and that will be layer 001 in this case, and simply head render in plane 2. That's actually hair are belonging to this particular layer, so you can turn them on and off. Okay, so this is the viewport version, and this is the rendering version. Okay, so that's it about creating accessories, linking models and meshes once you have the skinning, and some kind of a troubleshooting as well. And if you have no UVs, or you want to create variations of additional items, you can do that with skin wrap. So it needs some room for experimenting, but it's generally an easy to follow workflow. So thank you, and see you next time.